Documentary script. Films have always reflected our worries and concerns, and the science fiction genre is used as an example of how films reflect the deepest anxieties of each generation. McKee, 2018, online. For example, in the 50s and 60s, films featured alien invasion, perfectly encapsulating America's paranoid vision of the threat of communism. McKee, 2018, online. Or, e.g., AI in Terminator, 2001, Space Odyssey, Alien Invasion in Men in Black, Independence Day. In Doles, 2015, online. It is argued that a social problem film indicates the attitude that the films take toward their subject matter. This is to say that an event such as alien invasion is not a positive thing, and so is naturally viewed as a social problem. Furthermore, a social problem is brought about by people's attitudes, behaviors, and institutions, and can thus be made better by deliberate effort. Maland, 1988, cited in Doles, 2015, online. Films regarding AI largely confirm Doles' argument, as they tend to view artificial intelligence as a problem, and a man-made problem, at that. In the same way as Kurzweil predicted the future, perhaps Terminator did, too. We are living in the age of technology, so ask yourself, would it be possible in 10, 5 or even 1 year's time if artificial intelligence would be able to hack people by themselves without any human interaction? The words from Brian Wallace when he said, "These tools," he says, "can make decisions about what to attack, who to attack, when to attack, and so on," and debunked up there's a high likelihood that sophisticated AI will be used for cyber attacks in the near future. Say yes. So let's look into this question in this documentary and look at both sides of this question. Can artificial intelligence be able to hack people by themselves without any human interaction? Firstly, we should look at the people that believe that and predict that AI, artificial intelligence, can hack by themselves. In an article from PC World, 2016, online, said it may take several years or even decades, but hackers won't necessarily always be human. Artificial intelligence, a technology that also promises to revolutionize cybersecurity, could one day become the go-to hacking tool. And another quote from the YouTube channel Kurzweil, in a nutshell, June 8, 2017, said that machines teach themselves. These two quotes predict that in the near future artificial intelligence will be used for hacking without any human interaction. So let's look closer at the second quote, machines teach themselves. The same way to teach children how to learn, by repeating the word over and over again, showing them photos of the object, also making sounds associated with that object. Artificial intelligence are doing the same thing to teach machines. Artificial intelligence are becoming similar to human brains, but they still need a bit of help to be able to think for themselves. This is down to a thing called deep learning. Adobe blog, 2018, online. Deep learning, the most common name for what can also be called deep structured learning or hierarchical learning, is the data used to help artificial intelligence and machines learn. In 2017, Google's DeepMind AI taught itself to walk using this, and in a video posted on December 7, 2017 called AI Learns to Play Snake using genetic algorithm and deep learning, shows artificial intelligence teaching itself the game Snake over 21 tries and getting to a score of over 100 while using deep learning. In an interview with Wired.com, Jake Williams, the founder of the Georgia-based security firm Rendition Infosec, said a truly remote echo hack wouldn't be easy. This is because of the encrypted connection with Amazon's server. Greenberg, 2018, online. So now let's look at some arguments to suggest that robots will not be able to hack and that we will be able to control them and shut them down before it's too late. In an post by Carrie Paul on February 24, 2015, he said that when the killer robots arrive, they'll get hacked. And this is true, so this is just one of many arguments that if robots start hacking we could shut them all down and override them all. On the 26th of August 2018 this quote was said by Daniel Starkey: "Most robots are stupid, easy to hack." n.wikipedia.org web link. Computers came first in chess. Humans plus computers only came third. When you add a human, maybe you add human error into the equation. Laws on A.I and robotics. At this moment in time, 3 laws in place for A.I to follow. Theses are: a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Asimov later added a 4th law: a robot may not harm humanity, or, by inaction, allow humanity to come to harm. But this was written in the 50s where there was no real threat of robots. But now in 2019, nearly 70 years later, things have changed a lot. We have developed and experimented a lot with the capabilities and the powers of robots, so we don't need set rules now, we need set laws. Asimov, Isaac, 1950. I, Robot. These were set in 1942 by Isaac Asimov, which would later be known as the Asimov Law. Asimov was a writer but also a very well known in the robotics industry. So what this means that if A.I or a robot accidentally hurts or kills a human when it was not designed to, then there would be no case against that piece of equipment. But saying this, there was a couple of instances that the manufacturer has been blamed for the people death. Such as the case of Robert Williams, who was the first ever person to be killed by a robot, a 27-year-old factory worker who was killed by a machine in 1979 in a Ford car-making factory. In this case the manufacturer was found at fault and the family was awarded $10 million. However, if a human tries to hurt or destroy a robot or A.I, then they can defend themselves. But there are quite a few laws in place for humans to follow when creating AI and robots. These are: robots should not be designed solely or primarily to kill or harm humans. Humans, not robots, are responsible agents. Robots are tools designed to achieve human goals. Robots should be designed in ways that assure safety and security. Robots are artifacts. They should not be designed to exploit vulnerable users by evoking an emotional response or dependency. It should always be possible to tell a robot from a human. It should always be possible to find out who is legally responsible for a robot. But again, saying this, there are times where this has been broken, and this is currently happening where the US and Britain are currently researching and founding drones that can decide who they kill and who they don't independently. www.pewinternet.org web link. What is the impact on this technology with theses laws? Seen, there are no laws that are set in place at the moment. There is no legal impact that can affect this technology, but there is moral and public repercussions. Some examples of this is the unmanned drones that the UK and us are working towards that would have the capacity to make the decision to kill somebody. If these countries manage to develop theses that there would be no legal actions against them, but there would be a lot of backlash from the public and the responsibility if the drone goes not follow commands that it to hurt or kill innocent people. But since there are no laws, we can push the AI and robotics industry further and further with no repercussions. The growth and development of technology. The growth of technology is growing faster than ever. In fact, the industry is meant to grow 20% from 2015 to 2020, from $4.5 billion to over $14 billion. Who will benefit from AI in the future? A source from Medium.com said that the fast food industry would benefit a lot from AI and robots. This is in effect right now, as in the US some fast food restaurants have started using a robot called Flippy, a robot that flips burgers but also cleans the grill at the end of the day. Also, supermarkets have replaced human till operators with a basic self-scanning AI-based till. Another operation that would benefit from AI and robots in the future is the law, but mostly laws. This is because it takes a lot longer for humans to read cases than AI. A.I in the healthcare. A.I in healthcare is getting better and better. Just like in law where A.I is being used to look through records, so is A.I in the healthcare system, checking people's records a lot quicker than any human. This makes it so they can help the patient quicker and make the whole process a lot smoother. At the moment robots can't do everything in the health system, but it can help doctors track things like cancer quicker, or in some cases diagnose the patient itself. But the main people that can benefit from this is everyday people. This is because of the help of Amazon, Google and Apple with the virtual assistants. This is who is going to get the most out of something like this, not only the simple tasks such as asking a question, but for the disabled and elderly, as they can also turn on and off the lights and do other tasks like this. But A.I is not all fun and games. There are some quite bad things that are associated with A.I. This is because there have been some problems with virtual assistants, such as when there were reports of these laughing randomly coming through these speakers. Also there have been reports of speaking coming through the speakers when it's in the baby's room. A.I cannot have too much data, the more the better. Both A.I and humans learn and collect data in a similar way. Just like when a human starts a new job, they will spend the first week or so learning about the job, the rules and the people. AI will also do this, but the difference is A.I will take in that information a lot quicker and won't make masquerades. Unlike humans, A.I will need updates. Some ways companies are getting information from people are through data robots or automated machine learning. They do this by programming the machines to collect data, but there are also unsupervised machine learning. Theses cannot be programmed but learn by their own. Also A.I can mimic a human brain, but just a lot better, so even though they still have to learn, they can do that a lot better and quicker. The negative impacts of A.I to society. There are many negative impacts of A.I to society. Some of them are small, such as driverless cars, such as Tesla. This is dangerous because even though there are lots of safety features on the car, such as it will slow down and stop if it has not detected activity in the car for a while, it is still in development and has failed on different occasions. Furthermore, it is also affecting us personally. This is because instead of changing gears and not paying us much attention to the road as you should, it's making some people that have these cars lazy drivers. This is also the case for things such as Siri, Alexa and other home assistants. They are good for some people but also making others lazy. This is because you can ask any question and it will tell you the answer, so soon there will be no use for books. There is also more negative impacts based on A.I, such as automatic pieces A.I and robots. This is because instead of taking over the world, at the rate we are expanding technology, they could turn off the power. A.I is also a problem when it comes to social media. This is down to one thing: scammers using AI and coding to scam the vulnerable people. These people are the modern day cold caller. These people will code a program and set AI to advertise the scam all over social media. The positive impacts of A.I to society. Even though there is a lot of negative impacts of A.I to our society, there are also lots of positive aspects to A.I to our society, such as A.I being used to prevent internet scams, that is supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. As the name suggests, supervised machine learning algorithms are basically told by the engineers what kind of decisions they should be making. When machine learning algorithms are subject to supervised learning, they are given previously collected data that has been manually labeled fraudulent or not. The data will help train the algorithm to detect fraudulent activity that is similar to that which had been previously detected. Cameron Christensen, January 18, 2019. And unsupervised machine learning. Unsupervised machine learning algorithms are much more complex to create. Essentially, developers are aiming to have the algorithm make decisions about potential fraud on its own, without being specifically told what to look for. These algorithms will process large amounts of unlabeled customer data and will learn to recognize new fraud attacks and stop them in their tracks. Put simply, the algorithm does this by analyzing patterns in the data and reporting any anomalies it finds. Cameron Christensen, January 18, 2019. The way this comes into play when it comes to stopping phone, email and social media scammers is that it works in the same way the spam folder on the email works, is that it filters and blocks anything that they think is a scam. How A.I is keeping us safe. Tri-dimensional traffic lights have been set on timers, but now IBM are designing traffic lights that work by cameras. The way it works in an approach for adapting traffic signal timing. A computer receives a streaming video for one or more paths of a first intersection, notes the patent. The computer identifies traffic within the received streaming video. The computer calculates traffic flow for the one or more paths of the first intersection based on the identified traffic. It continues. The computer determines whether a change in a state of a traffic signal for the first intersection should occur based at least in part on the identified traffic and the determined traffic flow with respect to predefined objectives. Mark Chaxfield, May 18, 2018. Rich Mackay, content producer, IBM Industries, said about the safety of A.I traffic lights. Can AI keep learning? Traffic light objectives can be affected by factors that weren't anticipated when the systems were installed. Many now have a pedestrian crossing system that counts down when the light turns green. But what about people with disabilities or anyone who needs more time? An AI-based system doesn't require us to re-engineer the crossing system to better accommodate them. It can learn to recognize visual clues like seeing eye dogs, canes, or wheelchairs. Weather sensors could also be incorporated since 22% of crashes are caused by weather events. Rich Mackay, content producer, IBM Industries, 18th of June, 2018. Could AI learn about new objects, like small children who walk slower? Yes. We are not simply handing control of the junction to the AI. The junction can operate the lights in much the same way. We are extracting information to help AI advise the traffic light system to change its normal sequences. Rich Mackay, content producer, IBM Industries, 18th of June, 2018. Having A.I in traffic lights would not only help with the flow of traffic instead of having timers which sometimes can keep you for longer than it should or keep you at a red when there are no other cars around. Having cameras means that the A.I with the help of the cameras will be able to stop that problem and help the flow of traffic, but also in the advent of a crash will also be able to report it to the police, ambulance and fire services. The A.I field has two jobs. The research job is more academic, mostly based in maths or science. For example, you will be working on things such as deep learning. Deep learning is part of a broader family of machine learning methods based on learning data representations, as opposed to task-specific algorithms. Learning can be supervised, semi-supervised or unsupervised. Wikipedia. This aspect of AI focuses on the algorithms and tools that drive the state of AI forward. For example, what neural network structures might improve vision recognition results? How might we make unsupervised learning a more generally useful approach? The 10th of December 2018, Gordon Huff. To be able to get into this job, you will have to have had gone to UNI and get a degree in computer science and maths. You might start on different things depending on the background. The research job is about creating new forms of AI. Now the second type of job that you can get in the A.I field is the applied field. This is more of the practical side. Unlike the research job which creates new forms of A.I, the applied field uses old ones but codes them differently. This job is a lot more coding than the other job. While different programming languages can come into play, a lot of libraries and toolsets, such as PyTorch, rely on Python, so that's a good skill to have. Especially if you have some level of programming background. MIT's Introduction to Computer Science and Programming using Python, based on its on-campus 6.001 course, is a good primer. The 10th of December 2018. Gordon Haff. Commercial opportunities using this technology. There are lots of commercial opportunities based in the A.I and robots field. Some of these include car factories. A.I comes into play a lot in here as it can not only speed up the production process, cut costs because the company would not have to pay people, but they are also a lot more efficient and also safer as there would be no chance of any injuries to people working there. But A.I and robots won't replace humans, but will work together, the robots doing the more difficult jobs and the humans doing the less difficult jobs. Universal Robots, a company that designs robots for car factories, said. In addition, robot arms from Universal Robot can also be used in screw driving, assembling, labeling, handling, and quality control applications. A.I and the military. At the moment there is a lot of work being done between the military and people in the making of A.I and robots. Some of the things that they are working on is a drone that needs no human interaction, and can choose whether to shoot or not. This is both a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because it has the ability to not be easily shot down and can do high-speed moves quickly. It can also track people that it thinks could be a threat and transfer it back to the military. But it is also a bad thing because it could go off the rails and start killing innocent people. It could be tracked easily and used against other people, but most importantly it kills by itself without relaying it back to the military before it kills. This is an issue as one, it takes the responsibility out of the death, and two, it can hurt and kill a lot of people a lot quicker than a human-used drone. A.I, Space and NASA. The biggest opportunities for A.I is when it comes to space exploring and space technology. Some of this technology is NASA is using A.I as a GPS up in space. This will work by non-global GPS. GPS stands for Global Positioning System, and it's just that, global. The satellites that let the system know your location so your app can give you directions to that new restaurant don't work when you're not on Earth. Since positioning a similar system of satellites around every moon or planet we'd like to explore would be really difficult and expensive, NASA and Intel set out to create a different kind of planetary navigation system. August 23, 18 Kristin Hauser filed under Artificial Intelligence. This would not only help get around space, but to also explore the different planets. This will also help everyday people because they are also planning it to where you can take a photo and it would tell you what you have taken the photo of and whereabouts it is in space. How would I get into the industry? If I was interested in getting a job in the A.I industry, I would either get a job based in the military working on drones or I would get a job with NASA and work on helping get A.I out into space to get the exploration and travel a lot more possible. I would get a job in this by first doing a research course based around A.I, then I would get a job in either one. I would do this by starting small in one of the fields and working my way up till I can create it and help. I could also become an AI scientist and go through that route till I can create something that would help go further into space. NASA and Google are also working together using A.I to find new planets. Modern space communications systems use complex software to support science and exploration missions, said Jeanette C. Bryan is, principal investigator in the Cognitive Communication Project at NASA's Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio. By applying artificial intelligence and machine learning, satellites control these systems seamlessly, making real-time decisions without awaiting instruction. December 11, 2017. Editor, Rob Garner. Final evaluation. Throughout these essays I have learnt a lot about A.I and the industry. I have also learnt about the differences between the jobs such as Research A.I and Applied AI, the military, and how they use A.I, and NASA, and how they are working to get GPS out in space, not just for them but the public. Unfortunately for this documentary, my practitioner was not very helpful, as they gave me a link to the website and not answering my questions. In hindsight, I could have worded the email a little bit easier to read. But it was better that I did my own research, as I could find out what I need to quicker, and I have learnt a lot more by doing my own research than if I would have got the information from the company. It is also more beneficial doing it by myself, as it made me look and focus a lot more, which means that I also learnt a lot more. If I was to email again, I would make sure to email more than 2 companies. This is for a couple of reasons. One, the more I email, the more chance somebody would get back to me, and also reason number 2, the more people that get back to me, that's more experience from all those different people with different viewpoints. From companies that all work in A.I but that do completely different things. And I could gain a lot of knowledge from all those different people. A lot of knowledge from all those different people. A lot of knowledge from all those different people. A lot of knowledge from